I am now going to call upon Noreen Taylor, Chancellor of the University of Ontario Institute of Technology, to deliver her installation address. Chancellor Taylor.
This gets very emotional. I hadn't been quite prepared for that. To say that I'm deeply honored to take up the role of Chancellor of the University of Ontario Institute of Technology, it's an understatement. In fact, I moved beyond words. This is an institution I've followed for decades. And for an institution that's only been around for about 15 years, that's quite an achievement. I must acknowledge my predecessor, Perrin Beattie, the second Chancellor of UOIT. During his tenure, the university grew in both strengths and size. It began on its present journey of broadening the range of opportunities for students, opening, for example, the Clean Energy Research Laboratory and the Energy Systems and Nuclear Research Science Center. The university not only broadened that, but it's also broadened its footprint, encompassing not only the North Oshawa campus, but also the campus here in downtown Oshawa. And in so doing, it made great strides in tearing down the perceived ivory tower elitism that always attaches itself to a university. And it places students, such as in the Faculty of Social Science and the Faculty of Education, in direct conversation with the existing communities of downtown Oshawa. Finally, under his tenure, the university reached this important milestone of 10,000 students enrolled in it. And for any organization, reaching that crucial 10,000 marker is quite an achievement. Those are huge strengths, and I will do my best to live up to them, but I know you define the words, a tough act to follow. Despite these many changes, whenever I come to the university, and especially the North Campus, I'm always reminded of the history of the place and what was there. And I've heard that being referred to a bit today, so forgive me if I repeat myself. We didn't share notes beforehand. I go along and I try to remember exactly what was where I'm now standing. So, for example, there's an apple orchard. There used to be an apple orchard in what is now the Athletic Center. And every year around Thanksgiving time, a bushel basket full of apples, a large bushel basket full of apples, would come to our door in my home in the city of Toronto. And it would arrive in time for Thanksgiving, and my Thanksgiving dinners featured, and I kid you not, homemade apple pies and apple crumbles. And frankly, it was heartbreaking when the orchard was cut down. Change is difficult. But the knowledge that this change was taking place for a concept we so believed in made it easier to bear. We knew that there were now going to be lives of thousands of students who would be improved by taking part in what is now an athletic center. We didn't know what it was going to be. And that somehow made the change easier. As I look at the acreage at UOIT, I end up reminding myself of who was where. There were paddocks of various descriptions. In one area, there'd be the stallion paddocks. In another area, there'd be a paddock for mares and foals. And the differences between the two paddocks couldn't be more pronounced. You'd be looking at stallions, and if you know anything about them, they'd be patrolling regally their individual turf, making sure that everybody knew they were the most important creatures around. And then, a few yards down the way that way, there would be paddocks of mares and foals, and these were foals that were just born. They were hours old, and they'd be gambling and scampering by their very, very proud and protected mother's side. So I start thinking about the transformation of what has taken place, and rather than tell you what was there, I'd like to tell you something about how and when this transformation took place. Winfield's Farm and the Taylor family involvement with this educational facility goes back roughly a half century ago to 1965. when E.P. Taylor and Winfield's Farm Limited donated 75 acres on the northeast corner of Conlin Road and Simcoe Street, land that was added to an existing educationally zoned area south of Conlin Road, to become a sizable enough entity that it could be declared by the province as what we now know as the well-loved Durham College. During the next 50 years, the relationship between the college and the farm had many occasions to be involved in things, usually, issues of students versus issues of horses. And I won't go into all of those. But I think the interesting thing is that initial gift of 75 acres grew to a total package of 343 acres. Some gift, some exchange, and some purchase that allowed the entity of Durham College and the dream of the university to flourish. The relationship was cordial, as I just said, and of course, there was good sense to being good neighbors. But there was more to our relationship than simple good neighborliness. The then president of Durham College, Gary Polonsky, had a dream for Oshawa and a dream for the Durham region. And I'll look at Gary now. And over years of meetings, it became hard not to get caught up in the spell you cast. We were delighted when the university was sanctioned officially by the province of Ontario. And it was with an open heart and genuinely look forward to the future that we made the move to sell 192 acres to become the future home of the University of Ontario's Institute of Technology campus. A creative educator, Gary realized in a fast-changing technological world that Canada needed an Institute of Technology. Believe it or not, it didn't have one. Also, he was an acute observer of Oshawa and the Durham region, and he saw a need to broaden its base, its economic base, and diversify its impact and imprint on society. In meeting after meeting, Gary would talk about his dream of a university in which creative thinking could marry with practice and with the development of knowledge become a major driver of innovation. This was decades before words like innovation hub or Mars or thought leaders ever entered our vocabularies. His vision of education geared to our future needs was hard to resist. As it turned out, it was hard to resist not only for us, but for the province and finally for the federal government. And with that, as I said, it was with an open and generous heart that we looked forward to selling the land. And I now have to say, we loved our farm, and we loved the community represented and all the people in it. We loved the idea that we had built generation after generation of champions. In making this move, we knew that we were now going to be building a different kind of champion, a human champion. And we were going to be helping in the creation of strong, healthy, vibrant human families whose stability was based on their having learned to achieve great success in their fields. Where once foals had scampered by their mares, learning from their betters how to become great racehorses, we would now have thousands of students, young people, learning from experts in their fields about how to achieve excellence in the domains they wanted to conquer. These students would become our new, widely acclaimed champions. Where does this drive for excellence come? Is it a simple situation of some are born with it and others are not? Or do we sit there and dream of excellence, and that dream is so compelling that we will work unrelentingly until we achieve that dream? Or Do we depend upon our teachers to open the door to the possibility that excellence is possible, and to give students faith that they will have the opportunity to arrive at that door of excellence in their field? I truly and sincerely believe that this last option is the true one. I have complete and unwavering faith that in the exposure to education, through the rigors of academic and practical challenges, we do have the ability to overcome obstacles, to address and solve the problems that face us, and to create the new and future world we will live in tomorrow. I know that the University of Ontario Institute of Technology is a place for young people to find the cross-currents of discipline of education and expansive creativity that they will need in order to address the challenges of today. I know the students who are enrolled here will continue to walk along the path of excellence they have chosen. Oh, I'm getting emotional again. And I will be incredibly proud to be their Chancellor. Thank you.
Thank you, Chancellor Taylor.